And welcome back to the Analyst Desk ahead of our final game of the day, G2 Esports taking on Rogue. We've kept Xerxes. We did not let him go because we want him to help us for picks and bans. Because frankly, it's G2 and Vedius, we need all the help that we can get.
Yes, we do. And someone who has a lot of experience, not only drafting against them, but with draft in general, I'm sure Xerxes will be valuable.
And one of the players in our league that has a bit of a brand in playing some fun and unique champions over the years. So no pressure, buddy.
To be honest, no amount of knowledge can help you predict what G2 is going to pick. Like, you never know when they're going to pull the Garen, the Soraka.
What I actually want to ask though is like, the exploration has been very successful for the most part on the G2 side. Has this kind of inspired yourself and other LEC teams to also be a bit more exploratory when it comes to scrims and things?
Not really. I mean, they can afford to do that because they're obviously on another level. So they can still win with like tallish picks, like we saw the Annie. I mean, not sure how tall it is.
I get what you
but
mean,
it
like
did
unique picks.
I guess, yeah, but they look really tallish when you see them for the first time. But then when you actually think about it, it does make some sense.
One of the funniest things that happened to me was I was speaking to Mickey the other day, and I was like, all right, at what point is the fact that you flex everything, G2 trying a little bit too hard? And he said, never. We will flex every single champion. And I kept throwing champions at him, like the most obscure champions ever. He's like, nope, you can flex that. No, you can flex that too. Nope, confident you can flex that as well. So as far as G2 is concerned, every champion is a flex pick, which is why drafting against them is one of the most obnoxious things ever. Because as Xerxes says, when you see it, you think, this is stupid. This doesn't make any sense. It's not going to work. And then they execute it, and you're like, oh, damn, now I have to learn this champion as well.
Was this smart, or was this G2 being G2?
Yeah. But the problem is that when they pick a champion, you don't even know where he's going. Like, even if you don't know if he's going top, if he's going jungle. So, like, it's just so difficult to play against that.
It really is, and the difficulty is going to be on Rogue. Now, with Origin losing just moments ago to Splice, Rogue, they've set their sights on that 6th place and the playoff bye. Now, of course, they will be playing Origin next week. Let's turn our attention to draft, turn our attention to picks and bans, and straight out the gate, nobody will be surprised that Olaf is banned against Inspired.
All right, so that makes a lot of sense. A lot of respect being thrown towards Inspired. Nothing too unconventional coming out the gate so far. What do you think about Corki bans? What does it tell you, Xerxes?
I feel like it kind of enables the Azir/Akali first pick. And usually it's a good ban on blue side because the red side team can usually flex it. Now that we've seen teams actually pick it AD carry like bot lane, and some people play it top lane as well. So yeah, I would say it's a good blue side ban.
Okay, and the Yasuo ban doesn't really surprise us either.
No, that's just a respect ban.
That's just a respect ban for perks, and we have seen Caps play it, but not since what, like MSI of last
that's
year.
A Kiana.
In a while.
That's a Kiana.
You think over Akali?
I would say so, yeah.
If it is, do you think Jankos gets a chance to play, or do you reckon this just lands in the hands of Caps?
I would say Caps takes it.
Yeah.
But do you think Caps plays it mid lane, or do you think...
I think it's going to be mid lane.
Oh, okay. So Jankos did tweet that if Sejuani was open, his coach was making him first pick it. This makes me wonder if G2 is trying to learn more about trying to first pick Sejuani like a sensible team.
Well, we're going to find out. I mean, this is obviously a big game here for Rogue and how important it is. Tryhard faces on the stage, 8 kills, 2 deaths, 28 assists for Jankos across his 3 games played. So significantly, very, very impressive stats. And for Woolite, he's going to get the Kai'Sa.
Wow, so Xerxes, I'm really curious as to what you think about this increase in Kai'Sa priority, because we've been seeing it a lot more around the world.
Yeah, I feel like right now it looks like he's the best performing ADK after Zyra Kana removed and Yuumi as well. So yeah, I think it just becomes stronger after with those bans.
That's interesting. All right, so Woolite is going to get something that is considered pretty strong in the bot side of the map. Now, do you think the Kiana
well, they played
Kiana Akali.
They played Kiana Sejuani against us, so...
Oh, there it is!
Okay. Good luck guessing where those champions go.
Vedius, if you were to be a betting man, Wonder or Caps, who gets Kiana Akali? Just assuming they go like
Caps
in
gets
normal
Akali,
places.
Wonder gets Kiana, in my opinion. So the only thing that I like the Soraka hover.
Tell me why you like the Soraka hover.
Well, because they're baiting G2 and they're like, you promised the Soraka top lane, because that's what Wonder was tweeting out earlier in the day.
Well, it's not going to happen just yet. It's going to be the Renekton locked in for Finn. Of course, Finn coming in for Profit. Finn's cleared last week. 2 games on it. Looked pretty good. Not banned today. Not going to run it. I'm a little sad because I'm a bit of a Kled fan
I am
myself.
aware.
Now, Xerxes, when you see kind of the champions that, you know, Rogue or G2 are locking in, what direction do you want to see them take their bans and then their picks in phase 2?
Phew, it's kind of hard to tell because, like, if you're on G2, you need some AP in the bot lane, I would say. But I feel like Porix can just play so many mages and like AD carry, so it's hard to say.
I do find the Kled ban surprising. This does suggest they actually expect the Renekton to go mid lane as an answer to... again, so you have to do like many mental gymnastics here because they're like, okay, so they consider the Renekton a good pick into either the Qiyana, Akali, or both. And they assume that whatever's going mid lane, the Renekton is going there to answer it, so they want to take the Kled off the board as well. Because they've only banned the Gangplank as well, so they're also banning top laners, which heavily indicates that the Renekton should be going mid and it's not going in the hands of Finn.
What does this do then for the Rogue pivot? Let's just assume G2 100% right and that it was going to be Kled Renekton. Now they need to find something else. Where do they fall back to? Good luck, right? That's super tough, isn't it? It's going to be the least locked in for Inspired, so this will give us the solo laners, anticipated Sylas and Renekton, and that kind of answers the question for us.
Oh yeah, I suppose it does. Yeah, you're right, because then the Sylas will go in the mid lane, because I actually assumed that the Sylas was going jungle initially.
The thing is, like, here, like, Larsen has played Renekton before, right? So, like, on Rogue side, you can still flex the Sylas and Renekton between mid and top.
That's true.
So I guess it's just going to be a swap game, and I'm not too sure how it's gonna go.
Well, one of the things I want to ask as we start to see this team comp sort of rounded out, Xerxes, how do you think G2 want to win this game? And then same question for Rogue once we see their last pick.
G2's team comp looks like the Origin's team comp, but just better, because you actually can win sides and you have the Sejuani. So the Varus Tom can make sense in this case. Whereas,
and if I recall correctly, there was the 1-3-1 comp, right?
Yeah, this is the 1-3-1 team comp. But they have the 1-3-1 team comp where they win the side, but I feel like with their team comp, like they can actually team fight as well. So like they can do both of the 1-3-1 and just group 5 mid and just brawl.
So what do you think about this Pyke last pick then? Because whenever you pick Pyke in my head, you're not really playing for the 2v2, you're looking for skirmishes like around the mid, like around mid lane early, and then like in the mid game you're looking to group up with your jungler and just constantly look for picks around the map. Do you think this is an answer to try and attack these sides later on?
I feel like this Pyke is a good answer to G2's 1-3-1, and as far as I know, it's a good counter to Tahm Kench as well.
Yes.
So yeah, like I feel like Mickey won't be able to roam mid lane and back up caps, and here like Rogue, if they can have Elise and Pyke just around mid lane and just get a prio and then move it to sides, I think that would definitely help them get control of the game.
And as you mentioned, Xerxes, that Sylas is going top. Larsen will be playing the Renekton in the mid lane. So expectations on draft, do you prefer one to the other, Vedius?
So I think that Sylas used to be considered a really good matchup into Akali until Caps decided to start running Conqueror into it. But I still think that Sylas can get priority top, Renekton can get priority mid. So I do think that Rogue in the early game actually have some strong lanes for the Elise to play around.
Well, we're going to find out if they can do it. Xerxes, I want to say thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations.
Thank you for having me.
We will see you next week for that showdown with Fnatic. Of course, tomorrow as well, but it's next week I'm much more excited about.
Yeah.
For now, let's jump into game as G2 take on Rogue. GG, dude. Thank you.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. G2 versus Pause. G-Pause. Things that you might have missed because you can't see the loading screen. 4 of 5 G2 members opted for Invictus Gaming logos. 1 picked a G2 logo. That one was Perks. Forever loyal. That will make Papa Ocelot proud. It is a Rogue Pause. We'll keep you updated.
It's not even
IG
that you got to be scared about right now in the LPL. It's FPX and top.
There's too many acronyms in the LPL. I can't keep up.
It says G2 and RGE.
That's easy. G2. Like, it's one letter shorter. Like, statistically, 33%
So
letters.
I'm going to go in and kind of talk about the summoner spells while we're sitting in this pause. Interesting things to note. Mickey has Unsealed Spellbook on the Tahm Kench. We see that occasionally. It's Electrocute, of course, coming out of caps, but it's Press the Attack for Larson. Now, Renekton can either go into the Press the Attack or into the Conqueror, kind of depending on his matchup. And it feels like he really wants to match some burst damage here by taking Press the Attack versus the longer sustained fights with Conqueror. But of course, Conqueror works so well with Spear of Shojin, so I feel like this is Larson opting for more immediate lane power versus the late game Conqueror, Spear of Shojin in team fights type of Renekton.
Yeah, and of course the sustain from Conqueror, one of the biggest factors there, but with an empowered W from the Renekton will triple stack and instantly proc press the attack. So if you do sit above 50 Fury, very difficult for Caps to approach you with any kind of confidence because you can just empowered stun, get press the attack, increase the damage on the Cole the Meek, and dash right back out. Renekton obviously very oppressive to play against. It will just be a few more moments. Had a client in the wrong language. So Larson Pause reporting system language incorrect. The issue has been corrected, so players are now finishing ready checks, making sure they're comfortable, they're cozy, everything's where it needs to be, and we will be right back into game. And respect to Larson.
What language?
I don't know. That was not in the clearly scripted information I needed to deliver to all of you at home, as well as to you, Frostgren. So, who knows? Maybe like someone before, put it in Japanese. I heard about people doing that. Like all the
Sounds
people who
nice.
like the Japanese like character audio, kind of trying to import that over. Don't know if that would work on our stage, but that's a theory. Alternatively, we're in Europe, and it's a a place of many languages, so it could have been one
Just
of a multitude.
like the German client.
There you go. He does not sprechen the Deutsch.
But I hear the ready's coming out. We should be going.
It was Swedish. Have confirmed it was Swedish. Which is interesting because Nuke Duck was on that computer last, so not where I would have put it. But anyway, folks, we're bringing the energy down a bit. We're giving you this kind of like campfire vibe because we're waiting. It's the final game of the day. I'll ramp you up. I want everyone to be hyped because it's a G2 game. It's a rogue game. We're going to see who comes out on top. And finally, we are now getting back into game. Moments away. There it is. Time to get excited. It's G2. It's rogue. Going toe-to-toe. And time to see who comes out on top. And immediately, folks, immediately, the thing that I want to talk about, the thing that has got me going about this matchup is Jankos versus Inspired. Why? Battle of the Polish junglers. Let's do it. Who will come out on top? Inspired, Unleashed, stronger in the early game, notorious diver of towers. Jankos.
On the pig.
And probably best jungler in our league. Huge challenge for Inspired. There's a lot of clout on the line, folks. This is not the game where you want to run it down.
But we did say that we wanted Inspired on something that could kind of give him the same fight, dueling power, ganking presence as the Olaf. I feel like the Elise fits in that wheelhouse. Maybe he takes a page out of, it seems like every Polish jungler can play Olaf really well, and hopefully Inspired can play Elise just as well as Jankos can.
And as excited as we are about the jungle's going to be important, but bot lane also an interesting point. Vander and Wolite, obviously with the Pike, the early hook is going to force the flash out from Perks, so a bit of a disadvantaged state there for the G2 bot lane. We will, of course, continue to check in on the junglers, especially as level 3s start to come through, see where Inspired wants to spend his time. But G2 starting at a disadvantage on the bottom side, not something that we always see.
I mean, it's still helpful that he is laning with the likes of the Tahm Kench, so it's never going to be great for Perks, and it means that if they do want to try to push up and be forward on this lane, that it does expose them. But because it's Tahm Kench, it's going to mean slightly less than if it was a different support not having access to that flash. And meanwhile, they go ahead and leash anyway. They're like, that's fine, push the wave into us. It'll eat up cooldown time on this flash.
You can see Larson looks like he has to start with the stun, just a quick, once again, proc of V-press the attack, even unempowered auto, reset the auto. With the stun there, is quite strong. Jankos hovering around the mid lane, will not opt to go for the level 3 clear, instead turning his attention towards the top side as Wunder will start to press in onto Finn. Finn opting for the abscond abduct. We'll get double stacks, try to match some of the wave clear, but Wunder just stepping forward, making sure that Finn cannot farm comfortably.
I think he's going to go red, excuse me, Jankos will go red, Raptors, Wolves, and then that should give him close to level 3, and it'll allow him to actually walk out and contest this scuttle and secure the safety net for Akali.
You gotta love you guys. That's exactly the thing that I love to see. Not only has he revealed the draft strats, which did come to fruition.
Please don't build Proto Belt.
Why not? AP Sejuani was a thing.
I will say this, okay.
For
Proto
like-
Belt's cool on Sejuani because you can Proto Belt forward and then you have such a long range ultimate that you get it that much farther. So it's like the Flash Proto Belt Sejuani ultimate. You can hit someone from like 4 screens away.
But for now, he won't have the money, and Inspired will can make that money as he sets his sights on the bottom side of the map, but won't find the opportunity to dive. Now, Frost, jungle's super hype, don't get me wrong.
Wait, hold on. I thought that Jankos would actually go for the scuttle after doing the blue. This is what I was talking about to give a safety net to Wonder, but Jankos actually immediately reset himself and is running towards Krugs. Meanwhile, Inspired is underneath this tower.
Bad news, Caps dashes out. Ooh, dodging right through the other side of that
I was excited.
Might have been it, the classic Elise Renekton tower dive, now in the mid lane. But good escape from Caps. And the thing I want to talk about on bot lane is that, like, conventionally, Tahm Kench not considered great into Pyke. Very easy to hook back, no matter who he's got in his belly. And on top of that, obviously, the thick skin will not save him from the Pyke ult. But there you see an embarrassing moment. Lag is what we call that one.
Larson should know that Jankos is here. They hit the Squire's Bloom. In fact, you can see the missing ping there from red side.
But now the stacks are starting to come through. The Caps now continue to engage. Larson flashing out to safety. The flash to continue to stay. They're going to be able to land a stun on the Larson. This is bad news. He can try to heal up with the Cold Meek, buys a bit more time, but Wonder's here as well. That's it. First blood donated to the Akali on the top side.
Okay, so Larson just not on the same page as his team. Now, the thing is that Jankos was pathing towards the Krug camp, so Larson could have assumed, hey, he's probably bot side on Krugs. I have enough time. I can be at this place in the lane. But Jankos hit the Squire's Bloom. You saw the missing ping actually hit his position and just dies to the gank.
Interesting, and now Wonder feeling pretty good as he goes back and is able to grab that entire revolver. Also opted to start Doran's. Okay,
so the Doran's thing is that the changes allow you to, hold on. Replay,
take a look
right
back
in
at
the middle
this.
of it.
This is Caps' pro view, obviously the slow demise of Larson in the mid lane. And as you see, stun connects, Renekton heals up, great. Might have even been able to survive, but of course Akali on the top side. But, ooh, backs off. Doran's, of course, something we often see on the Soraka, but you can check out what Cap sees. But back to the game at hand.
Hold on, there's a lot happening for Rogue here, invading and trying to really muscle G2 out of this jungle.
And Spire continues to step in, but only level 3. Now, losing out in experience overall, definitely not where he wanted to be. Was hoping to find some early advantages, but now that his laners have been put behind, it's really a desperate stand. Feels very similar to some situations where we've seen Brox in when he tries too hard to force for his lanes.
So I was curious what was going to happen in the jungle now that that's all settled. Back to the Doran's ring. Yes, Akali doesn't have mana, but Doran's passive actually just gives you the basic attacks that deal 5 more additional damage to minion hits. So you'll actually see people take it, not for the mana regen, but for the extra damage on the CSing of the minion. So you see Wonder on the Akali has the Doran's ring. Not that odd, even though she's not getting any mana regen there as an energy champion.
And while the Doran's shield often is the case, this is not a ranged opponent on the top side. Would rather have that AP to just deal a little bit more to the wave, as the short trades not necessarily something we see very consistently between the Sylas and Akali, especially when neither one has opted for Conqueror in the top lane. Caps, though, now hitting level 6, a bit ahead of Larson. Will be good to have that all-supreme display of talent to get things started, and Wonder ahead on top side as well.
And this is where I think actually things get really devastating for this G2 kind of mid-jungle duo of Sejuani and Caps, or Sejuani and Kiana, sorry, not the same thing. Kiana and Sejuani have really great control over River just because of how well they can skirmish in the River. We always talk about how Kiana, moves really fast when she has the element, so if she grabs water, her ability to zip kind of down or to either side lane by moving through River, but also just the amount of CC that she brings on top of the amount of CC that Sejuani brings is absolutely disgusting. So as soon as Jankos resets himself, gets back onto this map, all eyes are going to be on how Caps and Jankos start taking over this mid lane into one of their side lanes, either side of the river, top or bot.
Jankos has now opted to reset. We'll go for boots early on, so a bit more mobility as well as double control wards, so can lay down that vision, can look for some of those setups. Caps just staying back, knowing his jungler's not on the map, does not look to push forward for anything else.
Good ward from Inspired to now catch Jankos as he approaches his red, so they know that it is a 2v1 scenario here, but Caps also, like you said, knows his jungler's not with him. They're rotating their mid priority to contest Jankos here.
Jankos has to be careful. Inspired now stepping in.
His bot lane shoved in, so this is why you see Rogue being so confident here, because Vander and Woolite would be able to move first, but you can see Mickey taking the long way around.
Meanwhile, on the top side of the trying to cool down so low, but Finn does manage to make it out. The stolen Akali will ferry him to safety. The contest continues. Inspired trying to stop this red buff from going down. Kiana manages to find the multi-man stun, but Inspired will make it out. The blast cone ferrying him away, and Vander walking away as well. But Jankos will be able to secure this red buff in the end. TP now coming back.
Rogue really playing with fire here, trying to muscle G2 out of their own jungle. The fadeaway cocoon just for good measure. He needs to be careful.
But Jankos, of course, getting closer and closer to level 6. Now runs into Inspired. A lot of tanky stats there. Goes up, comes down, but will it reset the stacks? No, the stun now comes in. Inspired. Battle of the Polish junglers is over. It's Jankos. He won. Coming out on top of Larson, may be able to get something back, redeem his teammate, but now pushing in for a bit more. Vander not able to find the reset. No level 6 for the Pike, the Smite. Walking away, the double kill. He'll let the Raptors finish the job. Caps taking another one.
And Inspired really pushes his luck right there. He overstays. Jankos suddenly has level 6 to level 5, and Jankos just turns around and is like, what are you doing? And slaps him. Dominance asserted.
Yeah, yikes. Difficult. At this stage, G2, of course, already 2K gold in the lead. The ulti is going to connect. Woolite now going to be in trouble, has been caught out. We're going to go into a replay because
he survived. No, he didn't.
did not survive, folks. Update picture-in-picture. They walked him down. They found the kill. And Jankos, as you said, hits level 6, goes in on the Spider. There's no way out. Larson tries to save the day, but can't make it there in time.
And you can see kind of what Inspired was thinking of. It is Vander that gets to the play first, so maybe he's thinking, I got, the ability to roam here from my Pike. I'm safe to do this. Did not count for Jankos to get that level 6 right there. As now we take a look at Woolite. I thought for a second he'd make it out, but it is the fadeaway arrow that kills him.
Here we go.
Yeah, good night.
I like that. Auto quick Q. Does not waste any time charging it. Just instantly fires it out. And now, of course, the Kiana has both the Moby Boots as well as a Serrated Dirk, so while the 1v1 matchup versus Larson might still be difficult, although an XP advantage is definitely going to make things easier, can immediately start to roam through. You talked about the extra movement speed when he has the river element equipped, and he can run through the river to the respective lanes, but going to be even faster now with these Mobies.
I think it's always going to be tough when that Ignite is up and available. Caps doesn't have it right there, but competing with TP versus a combat summoner like the Ignite, Caps, I think, once that's up, will actually feel pretty comfortable looking for some short burst trades using the Electrocute and then possibly for an all-in. Still have to be careful that you're playing around Renekton's ultimate, or could, like you're saying, just choose to play the river. And this is what I expected from Kiana and Sejuani, that at this point of the game, with the Moby Boots, with Sej and Kiana, they have so much control over river, so anytime these guys team up, it's really devastating for Rogue. They have to be very careful not to walk into them.
Indeed, and opportunities to find skirmishes are getting harder and harder. Vander will come into the mid lane here.
They've got company too, Woolite.
On the bottom side, Larson trying to get a little bit aggressive here, where the hook is going to land on the Caps. Spring Blitz found, comes back. Caps is now in trouble trying to dash into safety. Larson not going to be able to grab Caps, running for his life, but they'll find the kill. Vander gets the execute. Jankos now has to leave. A 1-for-1 overall.
And it was the man difference that made it there for Rogue. Yeah, a 1-for-1 trade. So again, you can still see how devastating Sejuani and Kiana are, especially when they get to layer all of that CC there. But heads up play from Woolite and Vander. Right place, right time. As now Inspired looking top. Nope, he's looking mid. They're being chased by Tom Kench.
Oh, Jankos is here too. The chunky boy is trying to finish this one off, but it's not looking great. Vander gonna lock him down. Mickey gonna go with the instant cleanse, the Captain Jack impression. And Jankos buys a bit more time, but maybe not the best choice coming in from the G2 lineup.
Does mean that they'll get access to the Mountain Drake just because Mickey is low health. Oh, G2 might try to force this. Jankos doesn't have any mana.
And Perso, a little bit of lane priority.
I think he needs to give it up. They're trying to stall.
The Caps, alive and well. Ignite is up. Inspired a very squishy Spider.
So G2 are wrestling for priority over the bot lane, and Caps is going to see if he can catch anyone walking back down. Are they going to scare Rogue off this dragon?
Caps goes in. He's just going to one-shot Woolite. Caps does get pulled back. Maybe they get something. The chain CC is there. Caps, is he going to be able to grab it? The Perks is on the opposite side of the wall. The flash forward. Woolite now in trouble, but no, it's not quite enough. Wonder's going to have to come in and finish it off. Won't be able to make it out to safety, but G2 playing with a lot of confidence there.
And G2 immediately going back to their lanes, pushing them forward, and then just causing this indecision, this scaredness from Rogue. The fact that Jankos didn't have any mana, he was kind of half health, but he's able to kind of farm his jungle, get his resources back up, and then kind of walks over as the last form of last line of defense there to push Rogue off of the Mountain Drake.
Have to be careful though. Perks, no summoners, has the TP, but that's not going to save him. Can't buy a bit more time. Mickey with an opportunity time, but no, just pulls it back to them. Perks trying to make it out safety. Jankos trying to buy a bit more time. Finn coming in, but that's going to be one execute. They might look for Jankos to Rogue. Set up on the bottom side of the map, doing what they can to bring it back into this game.
And really it was the use of the teleport to make sure that they got control of the bot lane. They picked up the kill. They now get access to these plates as well as the Mountain Drake, and you can see that Inspired has pulled it.
Rogue doing very fantastic to match in plays. Yes, maybe too much hesitation around the dragon, but otherwise keeping up the G2 in a lot of areas.
And this is usually something that we don't criticize G2, and they're a team that actually really like their uptime on the map. The thing that G2 prioritize over anything else is their back timers. They are constantly backing, buying gold, and then moving towards objectives and kind of making sure that their wallets are always empty so they're always strong. The fact that Jankos was on the map for so long and just didn't have the resources, either items, health, or mana to contest there, that's not a situation that you see G2 fall into normally.
Yeah, very good. Of course, makes sense for a team that likes to maximize their skirmishes, likes to maximize their combat potential, not the team that will ping, hey, I'm sitting on 3 gold, and else it's on the back of an incredibly bloody fight. But for, oh no, Woolite, that's not for you! Oh! And you got to feel for him, he's like, the map is reset, we're going forward, but then just steps right into the wrong bush. Not something that he was prepared for.
And it's G2 now running it back and taking a lot of plates simultaneously, both top and bot lane, getting extra gold, while Jankos has full control of the river and has started the Herald. You see the assist ping goes down for Rogue. They want to make sure that he can't just take this. Yeah, walk away.
Say that. We'll see what Vander and Inspired can do. And this is the thing about playing against G2 for us, As you talked about, like the back timings, how they always have so much combat strength because they're so diligent about spending their money. But right now, this is the kind of explosion of gold that I'm used to seeing from G2, where it looks even, Rogue are maybe 1K behind, and then suddenly G2 are almost 3K ahead.
An easy way to think about it is we're very used to seeing League of Legends where you have a big team fight and then a team from the team fight victory walks into an objective, either a tower or dragon.
They don't know. That's Wonder's Bush. You can't go into Wonder's Bush. He shoots intruders on sight.
The fact that Wonder's been sitting in that bush the entire time, he actually walked past the tower and he's just been sitting there waiting for someone. Anyway, back to G2. Most teams, that's kind of how it goes. Most teams will like win a fight and then do an objective, and in the reset time, they lose a lot of speed on the map, and the enemy team is able to get to another play, and then they're playing behind it. G2 will do that occasionally, but what they'll usually do is win a fight, back, spend the gold, then do the objective. So that way there's never an instance where the enemy team is on the map and G2 aren't also on the map matching them.
I think it's an interesting way to watch as they play the game. Keep an eye on those back timers as we step forward. But for G2 as a whole, I mean, look, we know they're the best team right now, currently. We'll see how they fare in best of fives. Many fans may want to see them fall.
I've seen how they fare in best of fives. They 3-0 them.
It's a good look. But as we see G2 kind of continue to extend this goal lead, I think it's important to look at what kind of separates them, how they approach the game, how it's different. We're going to break yet another tower. Wonder, though, goes in for the quick play. Larson going to try to find this one out. Wonder giving him a lot of respect and backing off. And ult is going to go wide here. Rest of Rogue ready to collapse. Where's the hook going to go? Vander fishing. What can he grab? Is going to pull the Tomcatch right back under the tower. That's going to be huge. Mickey now in trouble, locked down. Buys a bit more time. Vander waiting, though, sees it. Perfectly played around the stopwatch. Means he will walk away with the execute and a bit more money in his pocket.
That's still a lot of damage done from G2, however. They will have to lick their wounds and disengage from Rogue, so credit to Vander, especially to clean up on that kill. Now 3-0 and 2 on this Pyke. Again, we talked about how the recent Pyke changes mean that there's just more gold. There's more bounties and cuts to go around, so it means a lot more when these champions get snowballed.
Definitely does. And of course for Pyke, still donates cuts over the allies, but also just gets more cut for himself. So we're going to see a very strong Pyke stepping in as we move later into the game. And of course, something you always have to respect. Scales well with lethality, pretty much entirely built around the itemization we see coming in now. So going to be a very frustrating Pyke to deal with, and Mickey's life is only going to get harder because that's a level 7 Tomcatch. This man has been ignoring experience, giving everything to Perks. Yes, Perks is now level 10, and that's great, but Mickey is a very vulnerable catfish.
Yeah, but Perks is also a very strong Varus.
True.
Pick potential between the Varus ultimate and the Sejuani ultimate is very strong, and all Mickey needs to do is just gobble him up and be used as like a minivan. He's just there to like transport people. He's a ferry.
All right, not something I'm used to hearing from Tomcatch, but I like that one. Makes sense. The
Caps is going to get dove.
The Dodge Caravan. Will it come in time to save him? It might not be. The stolen ultimate is there. Caps can't make it out to safety, and Rogue find yet another pick, but Mickey's on the bottom side.
He's still alive.
Will he be able to get anything else? Caps flashes out, wants to make it out. Wind.
He's still alive.
Grass hiding, waiting, not going to be it. Larson going to take him away, but Perk's now here. Will G2 continue to extend the play? It's a messy fight overall. Caps trying too hard to outplay, and Rogue are going to be able to find this kill. They're sticking around. Maybe they want to keep fighting. Jankos level 11, Inspired only level 9.
But look at Wonder. Wonder is very deep. He's going to get behind Rogue right here. I think he was spotted out by the ward in the brush. TP coming in for Rogue. They know that the fight's coming.
Fishing. Ult goes wide. Inspired tries to buy a bit more time. Perk's looking for the disengage. Larson on the backside. Have to respect the potential for the Renekton just to pop off. Bullets coming in as well. Mickey buys as much time as he can, but the very squishy catfish is now in trouble. Inspired running, but Wonder has found the first kill. Rest of the team looking to disengage. Janko's buying a bit more time. Perkz waiting in the pit. Here's coming as a big arrow. A lot of damage on the wall. But a perfect flash will take him out to safety. Buys as much time as he can. Rogue running for the hills. G2 have come out on top in this skirmish, but how much more can they get? Wonder continues to move forward on the hunt, but will not grab anything else.
I mean, a split fight where Wonder was fighting 2 people. The problem is that this Akali is now 4-0-1, so just annihilated them. And unfortunately for Rogue, on the top end of that fight, they just couldn't reach anyone to clean it up.
And now, for Wonder, it's this wolf pit where he waits. Caps he died recently, but he's not playing like he did. Instantly one-shots Larson.
That is Caps running from spawn, clearing out some farm in the mid lane, then walking all the way top, and Larson was still there from the previous fight.
Wow. Big confidence move, of course, coming from Caps. Not concerned about the 3 deaths that he has. Still willing to play forward, still willing to play aggressive.
I mean, who expects someone to like run across the map just to kill you?
Good job, Inspired. I swear, if he walked up to those Krugs and died again, there was gonna be a stern talking to from Freddy after this game.
There's the Fnatic brush, and now this is the G2 brush.
That's Wonder's brush. Caps is just seeing it. House sitting, some would call it.
Watering the plants.
Definitely watering the plants, taking care of everything. That's what the water blade is for. But Caps really has to be careful here. Finn just stepped forward just once again. Just to find this. Caps is going to try to turn the play. I honestly just trying to style, but maybe a little bit too much. He's not going to be able to take down Finn. Healing up, burning, ticking. Is he at least going to get the 1-for-1? Yes, in the end, but Caps, I don't think there was any reason for him to do that.
The question is what do G2 get on the map while Caps is dancing with 3 members of Rogue? Good job going 1-for-1. Best case scenario for him. That's what we expect from Caps. And it's positioning for a play like this, although here's Larson, deep flank.
Cook does manage to grab Perkz. Mickey tries to buy as much time as possible. Vander instantly gone.
That was Larson thinking he had the flank, and then suddenly his team just exploded. And speaking of flank, here comes Wonder.
Going in, Woolite dead. That was very fast. Wonder going to continue to look for more. Dashes in, perfect execution. 1 stack, might try to finish off, but Larson still very strong. Has to be careful. Mickey once again saves the day. The Tom Kench bailing him out of that aggressive dive forward.
So what did Caps' team do while he was dancing with Death up on the top side? They created a massive pressure point into the mid lane, and it has now accumulated into taking that mid-tier tower, as well as cleaning up multiple kills from Rogue.
And G2 just, once again, so disgustingly far ahead. 7K gold lead, 20 minutes in. They have the Varus as well, who's going to shred through that Baron, especially with the power of the Rage Blade, if they do want to go for it. But for now, will not be the focus. Once again, instead of going for anything else, they will back, they will reset, they will spend their money and be ready to fight again.
Also cool in the itemization for Perkz here. We've seen a lot of, I'll hold the thought. I don't think he's going to go over that wall. We've seen a lot of the Varus's going second item, Runan's Hurricane, and it feels like because a lot of team comps that are running Varus are melee, that they really need him to prioritize the Hurricane so they have some form of safe wave clear, but Perkz is like, no, it is all about the damage. He goes immediately second item, Rage Blade, which we expect to see on the Varus, but usually it's coming out third.
And speaking of being all about the damage, that is a 3-stack Medjai's Soul Stealer.
It's not a proto belt though, so.
I'm gonna be honest, in terms of greedy Sejuani buys, I'm gonna put Medjai's above proto belt. Protobell builds out of a health item. That's like something that Sejuani would get everywhere. Now, while it looks like it could be Warmogs, that could be a Protobell coming in for Jankos.
That would be the ultimate disrespect.
G2, though, setting up for the siege now. Have to be careful, of course. The threat of Caps' ultimate makes it very difficult to stand next to that tower, but Rogue remain unafraid. Some good defensive vision will stop them from getting flanked by G2. G2 just continuing to exert pressure, forcing Rogue to kind of respond to them. No doubt they're dancing to G2's tune.
But again, G2 don't waste any extra time on the map. They kind of push a wave forward, they force Rogue to respond to it, and then they immediately reset and then kind of walk to the next play, and that's what you just saw Jankos do right there. So this is kind of what I want viewers to keep track of as they continue to watch G2 games. It's when do G2 decide to go back, and how often they do it, and what kind of advantages it gives them.
Finn now going to be in trouble. The Soul and Keon ultimate may not be enough to buy time. Wonder now running him down. Finn in trouble. The TP coming in and he needs to find the kill. Finn tries to get a little bit more, but Wonder now dominating, but running between the enemy tower. Needs to make it out to safety. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, the Elise has been caught and will be taken out. Running for his life. Inspired. Can he make it to safety? That is the question. Vander dashes over the wall. The hook, where's it going to go? Tries to pull it back. Mickey with the Akali in his belly, but not enough. Caps once again in the midst of everything. Vander tries to find the reset, but it will not be there. Big damage coming in. Jankos wants a few more stacks. The Ignite goes in. Caps gets the kill. Jankos buys a bit more time to tank, and it is an absolute slaughter and a triple kill for Caps.
It is actually just styling on Rogue right there with G2. The fact that Wonder is still alive, that he made the around the world play from top lane all the way into mid lane. Huge credit to Mickey for the save as G2 now look towards the Baron.
And this has gone from Rogue finding opportunities to G2 and absolute dominance. No surprise to see that this continues to be the story. But for Rogue, definitely a frustrating game, no doubt. And G2, of course, is going to move in. They're going to take down the Baron. Finn, maybe a desperation steal, but it's too little too late.
And as I'm sure we're probably about to go into a replay onto that one, I want to point out that it was Mickey's unsealed spellbook into a TP take that allows him to get into position to save Wonder.
Oh, and here we see actually the play in the mid lane that we missed in the midst of the bot lane fight. Ooh, and just a max range ult from Perks. Well played. So picks off the AD carry, inspired, saves what he can, tries to run, but...
There's the unsealed spellbook into TP. Mickey shows up, gobbles up Wonder. This is how he survives.
And of course, once that stun connects, it's basically it. Vander fishing with that ultimate there, but not able to find anything. Perks though, continues to auto-attack. Will just lay down so much damage. Cannot afford to do that. A desperation move, no doubt, coming in from Larson. Inspired on the backside, but you don't have the stats. You do not have the damage. You do not have anything left on the side of Rogue. It is 49.3 to 36.4. 13K gold advantage. There is no chance. G2 can stand still and RuneScape duel, and they will still come out on top. Really going to take a miraculous outplay. Finn fishing, trying to find something, but instantly Woolite is just deleted. Mickey pulled back, wants to get a bit more, but killed before he even gets a chance for the reset. Now, Fire next on the list. Caps waiting over the wall. He takes the bait, and Caps will finish the kill. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. G2 continuing. They're going to move in. They're going to break the base. One last desperate stand for Rogue. Larson's still relatively strong, has the Shojin, maybe can get something done, but it's just going to be a slow, simple closeout for G2. They're going to go for style points, as they always do, but G2 versus Rogue. G2 will come out on top. Move up to 13-2, looking to secure that first place spot, no doubt.
I mean, 24-8, it was an absolute shellacking here from G2, but we expect nothing less than the #1 premier team in Europe. What did he finish with? 13 stacks from Jankos.
Not quite enough. I still give the victor of the greedy Sejuani buys to Trick and his proto belt.
I think Majais is up there.
But of course, after this game, Finn and Vander are going to be joining us in the post-game lobby, so be sure to stay tuned. And while, of course, in a G2 game, it feels hard to talk about stakes for the opposition, as G2 are just a very difficult team to beat in general. Remember that Rogue are neck and neck right now in fighting Origin for what feels like the last playoff spot. Of course, with Vitality's loss earlier today, it's getting closer and closer to seeing who the 5th and 6th teams will be. So every single one of these wins matters as we look forward into the second day of Week 8 and, of course, Week 9 as well.
And it feels a little bit better for Rogue fans seeing that Origin did fall to Splice earlier on, so it's not a complete dire situation. This game, probably the expected loss if you look at their strength of schedule. Still a very hard uphill climb for Rogue.
Of course, as well, we'll get a chance to play a lot of the top teams, give us a preview of playoffs as we look later. And for G2, once again, a win of confidence. Not a lot to take away from this one outside of Caps Kiana pretty good. And stay away from that brush near Krugs, folks. It's a bad place to be. That's Wonder's brush. If he wins Worlds, it's named that forever. Calling it now.
That was kind of the joke, you know. Fnatic won Worlds, they wouldn't get skins. They'd get like
different brushes named. There'd be a little picture of Hylissang next
now
to the banana
G2
brush.
get their own.
Yeah.
No, cool composition. Obviously, it's hard to talk about a game where you have like a 20K gold deficit.
Yeah.
The ability to play side lane, you know, we heard Xerxes talk about it on the desk. If this ever got to a scaling type of game, then G2's composition between Akali and Kiana were going to be hard to deal with, but I don't feel like we're ever going to get to the scaling potential of a G2 game. That game ended in 24 minutes and 52 seconds.
I mean, in the sense that the hyper-fed Akali got 2 items in the first 15 minutes of the game, that was scaling. But of course, the key player of the game, folks, you gotta vote for one. @LAW Esports on Twitter. Wonder, Jankos, Caps. Who are you gonna vote for? That's the big question that I have. Let me know with your votes on Twitter. I want to know, who do you think really earned this one?
Okay, so Caps had his styling moments where I think he was a bit overzealous. I think Wonder's great escape from like running behind top lane tower into mid lane. Mickey, strong assist there. But for that play alone, I'd give it to Wonder.
True. Mickey, of course, he's standing by with lore. Let's see what he has to say, because he's also the worst Mortal Kombat player ever.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, Mickey, for joining me. I'm gonna ask the control room to put something behind us because we should talk about stuff, Mickey.
Yeah, I guess.
invested some time in buying a plant, in putting up a card, expecting you guys to play Zyra, and I didn't see any Zyra today. So who should I blame for this? Who should we all blame for this one?
Well, as always, you should probably blame Draft, which is on grabs. And I really wanted to play Zyra. I already practiced it in solo queue, but I also made a deal with grabs that I have to play one Tom Kench game. And yeah, I had to blind pick it this game, which was really rough. And it was the least fun I've ever had in my life, but I guess we won.
How can you guys maintain G2 on top when you have a coach who doesn't want youngsters to have fun, who doesn't want you to have fun, and who makes up his draft based on what he likes to play in TFT? I don't
Yeah,
get
I
it.
mean, it's really rough. We're gonna have to uninstall like League client so we can play TFT. He's gonna like only be able to access League of Legends champion by looking at other screens or something. And yeah, it's really rough having to play like Tom Kench Sejuani most of the games, because I would love to play some Zyra, but unfortunately I'm getting jailed by my coach.
I feel bad for you, but I mean, trolling aside, I had an interview with Grabs a few weeks back, and he told me how amazing the support around G2 was. So I want to have your input as a player. What's helping you to be so good?
I mean, yeah, our coaching staff is pretty insane. I mean, compared to past teams I was on, this time I can't complain. Like this time my coaching staff is really insane. So yeah, just a lot of praise to everyone.
So without flaming anyone you worked with before, what makes it different now?
Everyone just helps as much as they can, and they don't make random useless comments like some people do. And yeah, they're just really fun to be around, and yeah.
I heard about Duffman being very important for you guys. So can you tell me something about him? How is
Yeah,
he
I
helping
mean,
you?
Duffman is like pretty insane at scouting enemy teams, and every time before a match we have like a 5-minute like meeting kinda, and he just tells us the tendencies of enemy teams, and every time whatever he says actually happens when we actually play the game. So it's really helpful, like kind of a guidelines how to play the game. So yeah, it's pretty insane.
When you guys come up with things like Soraka's might top lane maybe, because apparently it's something we might see, or the Annie, or well, the Garen, we know where is coming from, but what does the staff tell you guys when you come up with ideas like that?
I mean, well, everyone's really open-minded, so they're just down to try it. And well, first they want to hear the thought process behind it, and then if it makes sense, then we kind of try it, and then depending on how it goes, we usually pull it on stage, maybe sometimes even without even practicing it, but yeah.
What do you learn from scrims right now? Because when I see you guys on stage, I assume that scrims must go really well for you. So what do you learn from trainings you do in the week?
Yeah, so from scrims, I guess we learn how to team fight. We have a lot of fights. But I mean, I guess we try new champs in scrims. And yeah, I guess mechanics and just team fighting.
Any crazy thing we might expect from you guys in the last week? Because you only have 3 games left.
Yeah, I mean, for sure last week. Not sure about this week. Probably, potentially, but for sure last week, yeah.
All right, no, last question for you, Mickey. What do you expect for the rest of the year? Everybody is setting you up for success. Everybody's saying it's the year of Europe right now, and it's the year of G2. So any pressure around this?
I mean, I guess there's some pressure, but it's also my expectation for when I joined this team. I wanted to win everything, and so far we kind of did it, so we're halfway there. Well, hopefully we just keep going like that.
And I hope you guys will. Thank you for playing along during this interview.
Thank you.
To wrap up the day, we're going to send it over to PGL. Take it away, guys.
Zyra tomorrow.